scanners are going off, a lot of the mobile phones are going off, and the word is right now is that there's 2 Hercules that's due to fly up the Mach Loop, so super excited about that. I'll see what I can capture there. There's lots of enthusiastic amateur photographers currently where we're sat at the moment, which is Cad West. Now, they're in contact with guys at Cad East, which is across the other side, and also other parts of the Mach Loop as well. Now, the good thing about that is that we have pretty much a good window and a good idea of when the aircraft and when the jets are due to fly past here. On top of that, they've also got contacts that are photographing the jets whilst they're leaving or arriving at the bases as well, various bases throughout the UK. And the good thing about that, once again, is we get first-hand knowledge, first-hand information. So the information at this present moment in time, which is super exciting for us, is that 5 tornadoes are due to pass here. We're hoping in the next 2 or 3 minutes. So we're all pretty poised for it, and we're all super excited. 5 tornadoes. Morning guys, welcome to day 2 here at the Mach Loop. Campsite away, all packed up, nothing but the sound of jets in the sky, so fingers crossed for today. Early in the morning, day 2, I've just come down. It's looking likely that they're not going to be flying for the next half an hour or so, maybe an hour. That fog and that mist just isn't quite rising yet. However, what is rising first thing this morning is this fella here.
Breakfast?
And guess what? I'm not sure if you guys will be able to smell this, but look at that!
Now do you like me, Van?
This is living at large.
Hope you're hungry.
Oh, you're so excited. Hang on.
I've got your budget sausages, just how you like them. This guy don't want Lincolnshire sausages or nice posh sausages. No, he wanted the own brand budget sausages what never seen a pig in its life. But that's what the big man wants. That's what the big man wants.
Just while we're here, let me just explain to you what my camera settings are, my camera setup. If you very quickly look down here, the aircraft's streaming. I think the north is to the left and the south is to the right, I'm not sure. Either way, you get kind of a 5 or 6 second kind of pre-warning. They come banking around, they come zooming up here. Now, we're obviously photographing them around about here. So because there's a massive banking on the other side there, then I've just simply opted for shutter speed priority. So then all I have to consider or give consideration to is my shutter speed. Very important when you shoot shutter speed priority, make sure your ISO is set to auto. That's the only thing that I would advise. That way really all you are thinking about is when jets are coming through, you can opt for a fast shutter speed, or of course you can slow your shutter speed down if you want to try and pan with them like I'm doing now. And if you pan with them, the slower the shutter speed, the more blurred the background will be, as long as you're actually tracking the aircraft. On the propeller aircraft that come through yesterday, a few Hercules came through, and the idea there is obviously to get your, and that's a little bit trickier. You see, a lot of the purists for aircraft, what they prefer is they really want the blades to be blurred, so therefore you need to be around about, I don't know, around about 125th of a second, maybe 200th of a second, a bit at a push. And of course the slower you can get that, the more you'll see rotation in the props at the front. I've actually taken a picture at 1,000th of a second because that was the first picture we took yesterday, and you can see the blades are absolutely crisp, and of course it's just not very exciting, that's all. So that's my camera setup. Pretty much for the next 2 days, or for the 2 days I'm shooting, it's going to be shutter speed priority, and then I'm just going to decide whether to freeze the action with a fast shutter speed or blur the background out, do a lot of pannings and slow that shutter speed down. I spy with my little eye something beginning with ah. Can't you just sit still? Just sit down and sit still. Do my head in. That's it. 2 days. The Mach Loop. What a fantastic 2 days. It's been quite eventful, I have to tell you. More things going on off camera than there has been on camera. So it's been quite an eventful 2 days, has to be said. But no, I've been down here twice before. 2 days, stood around. I saw absolutely nothing. Lee's been down here before and saw absolutely piles of stuff. Only turned up, what, 2 hours beforehand or something? So that's just how it goes here. So just be prepared for that. There's a lot of hanging around, a lot of waiting, a lot of talking to other guys and so on and so forth, okay? But then all of a sudden, it just happens, and it's like catching a fish, I'm guessing. I don't fish, but you fishermen will tell me if I'm right or not. It's probably like fishing, hang around all day, then all of a sudden you get that one bite, and it just seems to make it all worthwhile. But like I said earlier, the golden rule is when you come up here, and everybody says the same thing, just plan on coming up here for a day or two and just take in the scenery, just enjoy the views. If you get any more than that, then that's a bonus. Happy, Lee?
Very happy. That's the saying. That's the saying.
Boom!
You come for the view.
Oh, fist pump at the end and now he's talking.
You come for it. I'm going to do the saying that everyone's been saying.
Go on.
You come for the view.
Yeah.
If you see a plane,
yeah,
it's a bonus.
Yeah. It's kind of what I just said. But
yeah, but I summed it up better.
You summed it up much better than me. I want to give you a very brief summary of my thoughts from the last 2 days down at the Mach Loop. I must admit, Lee and I, we travelled all the way down from Yorkshire and we had a fantastic time. It is so worthwhile, the trip, it really is. I suppose I could say that even if you don't see any aircraft, it's well worth the trip anyway, but obviously when you do see aircraft, or if you do see any aircraft, it just makes it all that much more worthwhile travelling down. It really, really does. Let's very quickly talk to you about the equipment that I use. I don't think I really covered it in the video. So I took down with me my Canon 1DX Mark II. Now, as much as it's the Canon flagship camera body, do you need to take that to shoot fast moving jets? Absolutely not. Any camera will do. Any camera will do. I suppose what's more important is the lens. And the lens that I opted to take down with me is my go-to 70 to 200mm lens. Now, on my day-to-day working life, what I prefer to do, I prefer to shoot a wider angle and tell more of a story, more of what's going on. In other words, this sort of picture is what I prefer over this picture. However, having said that, having visited, I suppose, the Mach Loop for the very first time, although I've been there twice before, I didn't actually see any aircraft, so I'm giving you this summary right now as if it was my first time. As soon as I saw the aircraft bobbing down, I then very quickly realised that I suppose my 70 to 200mm lens didn't quite have the same reach, or the reach I really could have done with. I do have, this is really annoying me, because I do have a 100 to 400mm lens. I just didn't think I'd need to take it. What I'm up it, I didn't take it. So there's an epic fail for you right there. There's no rhyme or reason why I shouldn't have taken this lens, just in case. But we're going back to the Mach Loop because that's such a good time. We're going to go back down in another couple of weeks' time from now. I think maybe even next week. And I absolutely guarantee this is the most important piece of equipment that I'll be carrying down with me. So I suppose really for that reach, you need to be around about the 300 to 400mm mark. That's my recommendation to you. 500, 600mm, I don't really know if I'm perfectly honest, but certainly my 100 to 400mm lens would be absolutely perfect for me. I can take this down. I also have a ×2 converter, so I could have just taken this down and put my ×2 converter on there as well, and that would work equally as well. Let me very quickly talk to you about the shutter speed. The first aircraft that we saw coming through the Mach Loop were the Hercules, the 2 Hercules that was there. Now, because it's my first shot, I opted for a fast shutter speed, so I opted for 1,000th of a second just to make sure I had some pictures in the bag. Now, I assumed that while I was there for 2 days that I'd see the same aircraft flying through 2 or 3 times. It never happened. So obviously my full intention was to take a couple of pictures so you guys can compare them. Now obviously, a faster shutter speed that I took 1,000th of a second, as much as it's frozen the action, it looks really quite pants when it comes to the propellers. If you want to, that's fact, if you look at this image now, then you can see it's a nice image, but with the propellers being absolutely stagnant, I think we'll lose the drama in there. So most of aircraft photographers will actually tell you it's really, really, really important when you photograph propellers on an aircraft, you must opt for a slower shutter speed. So obviously my intention was to shoot the aircraft again when it came around the second time, or later on that day or the following day, which obviously never happened. Then I would have opted for a slower shutter speed. I'm probably guessing around about the 100th of a second mark, then you're going to get quite a bit of drama and movement in those propellers. The problem you've got though is that if you first turn up, it's the first time you've seen these aircraft, you're buzzing and you're quite excited about seeing them, especially from the perspective that we had looking down onto the aircraft, which is quite unique. You run the risk of shooting at a slower shutter speed of actually blurring the whole picture. And hand holding a camera using a long lens, well, even this, a 200mm lens at 100th of a second, you run the risk of actually blurring that image. So you've got to be very careful about that. However, you have to experiment with it, because obviously the one shot that you will absolutely nail will be that one that you do capture just right, probably at 100th of a second. So there you go, that's my summary. Next time I go down, it's not really important about the camera body. In actual fact, I probably won't take this camera body with me. I'll probably take my Canon 5D Mark III. I'll probably take that one because of all things, the file sizes are actually larger, so I can manipulate them more than I can with this camera body. But certainly, my 100 to 400mm lens is definitely what I'll be taking. But had a great 2 days, Lee, and I had a fantastic time, met some fantastic people down there as well. It's a great place. Do you know what? It's even fantastic to go down there and shoot landscapes. Forget the aircraft. It's even so fantastic. You could go down there and shoot landscapes. Till the next video.